Okay, hello. So today we're here to talk about this thing that you've probably seen in my other videos. I kind of mention it and then move on. It's a whole thing. Excuse me. So this is my current battery setup that provides, I want to say like 5,070. No, it's over that. But I think it might be 5,077 power. I think that's how much. And you might be thinking, Senna, how does that work? How do you provide 5,077 power? Okay, so how this works, how power works in this game is that you have however much your factory is using at any time, right? All your facilities. So mine currently, I'm sorry, if you want to see, you go to AIC report, you click up here to this little power symbol. It's 5,015. That's the current power use I'm using. Then you have your power output, right? So like how much power is being generated in your facility by your thermal banks and your pack. Because I think the pack by default gives 200. Not all three, just the main one. So you get 200 off rip. When your power output goes below your power use of 5,015, what happens is not that your facility shut down. You get this at the top where it starts draining down from 100%, right? It drains down, drains down, drains down. And when you go over the amount you're using, so when I cross over 5,015, it starts refilling at some comparable rate to the excess you're generating, right? So if I'm using 5,015 power and I go to 5,016 power, it's going to generate my percentage here, my reserve power here, much slower than if I go to 7,000 power, right? You'll see it jump really quickly when that happens. And because your facilities don't shut down during this draining period, like all mine are still working, right? All these over here are still working. Well, these are kind of a little backed up sometimes, but all these are still working, right? Even though I'm technically in the negative. Until you hit 0%, your facilities will just keep working. So you just fill it back up above the use amount, which should kick in here. So I think it gets like 18%, maybe a little lower, 15. We'll wait a second. Once that kicks in, you'll see it start filling back up and your buildings keep going, right? So what people kind of realize is you can apply a real life electrical phenomenon to this. Yeah, so 9%, now it starts filling because I have 7.7k power, right? So now it's fill. Not a real life phenomenon, but a real life power, electricity understanding. I've seen the term PWM, but I believe that's not exactly what's going on here. That's that system that will like allow more power into the system automatically, I think, but I'm not sure. But that's what's going on here. Okay, that's the basis. So what this setup does is that well, okay, let's start here first, actually. So this is just constantly burning a battery at once every 40 seconds. That's what these two are doing, right? And so this gives me a base level power of the 200 from the pack, plus 1100, so 1300, plus 3200, so what is that? 1300 plus 3200, 4500, right? Yes. Now that I have 4500, this battery generates, where is it? 3200 again, right? So if I just put a third thermal bank, I'm technically wasting like 2,000 battery, right? Like there's a lot of battery power being wasted, and these batteries are worth a lot and they're expensive to make, right? So what this does is it delays when a battery finally gets to the thermal bank. That's what it's doing, because splitters, which are the orange ones, splitters are orange, convergers are white or gray. What this does is splitters and convergers follow a certain logic of where they're going to send a product or an item on the belt, right? It's always right, up, left, right, up, left, over and over again, right? And so when this one gets one, it goes to the right, and then it goes up, and then it goes left. But it's going to take a bit because this one, which is constantly getting one, is now delayed on when it's going to send this one up, right? So this takes extra time before this one gets here. So this third tier takes more time before it gets here. This fourth tier, more time. This fifth tier, more time, right? So the levers of how long it takes to get there are controlled by these convergers right next to it. You only need this row. I'm sorry, you need a splitter, converger, converger. That's how you regulate the power. The other ones are just to move them back into the loader, the depot loader, right? Because so you recycle these ones that you're not sending to the thermal bank, right? They're not stuck in your system. They're going back to your bank. So once it hits up here, obviously you get power back. For me, it gets down to like 9% as you saw. Then it finally gets there and fills my power back up. Okay? That's what's going on here. Someone once did a really cool image way back at the beginning of launch, like that first month of launch, of how much time each one adds, each layer and side adds. You can see I'm missing this side. That means that it goes up, left, up, left, up, left. And I think it doesn't matter if you have it on the right side or the left side, but just removing one side does change the time. If I was to add 2 more, it would lengthen the time and I would run out of power, right? So that's what's going on here. So when you see people say like the DIGE, this is normally what they're talking about. Other PWMs are way more complicated, and you may remember seeing them on social media in the past, but for the most part, that seems to be confined to the Chinese server, or in places I'm just not at, which is 100% possible. I'm not everywhere. I'm only on like Reddit and then like Twitter, where I'm bombarded by Hiyuki and Wuthering Waves and Zhuang Yi's big boobies, like over and over. And I'm like, thank you, I guess, Grok. So that's what's going on. Let's jump into how to use DIGE. I probably should like have done that beginning, but it's best you know what you're doing. Not exactly know what you're doing, know what you're working with here and when you're trying to accomplish. So this is the website. I'll put it in the description, but it's dige.aunly.cn. All right, and you can choose a language, but /lang en equals en. All right, when you get this thing, I guess I've never hit this. Don't show it announcement again, but just hit got it. All right, now on this, you don't need to worry about everything going on here. Okay, what you need to worry about is target power, this right here, minimum battery percent, max waste, and your primary secondary fuel. Okay, that's all we're worried about. That's it, and you hit calculate. Then you'll get some kind of output over here that tells you some important stuff. So let's do mine. Well, mine is a little special. I have the HC battery running. If you want me to go over that, I guess I'll go over it after. But a very common setup you'll have, let's say I'm using 5,000 power, or yeah, let's say 5,500 power, right? Because 2 SC Wuling batteries is 3,200 times 2, so 6,400, right? But you're not using 6,400 power, and you got, I don't know, you got some turrets up somewhere, right, that you want to leave on all the time. Your power, we'll say, is 5,500. The minimum battery percent is how low you want that total power to go. So remember when you saw my power go down to 9%, that's what this is. That's what this line is. So we'll say, for whatever reason, you don't want to go below 20%. Max waste / redundancy is how high above this number are you okay with your power going, right? Excuse me, your power generated. So right now with 30, if it could calculate it, it would calculate to 5,530 at maximum. But it's going to try and get as close as it can to this. But we'll say 100. We're okay with 5,600 because sometimes you just want to put a zip line down somewhere and it costs 10 and you don't want to run out of power because you put a zip line down, right? Branches and stuff doesn't matter. Don't even worry about this. If you know what it does, then you're not watching this video, or you don't need me by this point, right? Next, we'll look at fuel config. So your primary fuel is this one right here that's constantly being burned. That's what it's talking about. Like, which kind are you constantly burning? So SC Wuling battery. Your secondary fuel is your oscillating. So which one do you want to send through this little network? All right. We'll say SC Wuling battery. All right. This doesn't, I guess this matters, but like I don't particularly care about this. I think it has to do with how, if you're getting it straight from the packaging unit, the packaging unit doesn't output it at half an item a second, or one every 30 seconds. I'm sorry, one every 2 seconds. And so that does matter. So if you're going to use the pack, I've never used packaging. I always just take them out of the warehouse. So if you're going to use that's what it is. We'll talk about exclude belts after. So we hit calculate. It might say this: no solution found. We can't make it from what you gave me, right? So when it says that, it'll tell you try upping your min battery or your waste redundancy. So we'll do waste redundancy. We'll say 200. Still too low. We'll say 300. Okay, we got something. And now, when you get something like this, it's because at these higher powers, I guess there's something with the oscillation that doesn't work quite right. But we're going to always work with this for now, okay? So when you hit get it right, it doesn't give you the error, you'll get solutions up here. 4 different solutions, okay? The only thing that really matters in this solution is this right here, the power usage. How much power is this going to generate? So this is going to generate 5,770.4. So really we only need to go to like 201 in our max redundancy to get this outcome. When you click these, it just gives you different configurations of it and different power outputs. But for the most part, if you don't particularly care, just keep the first one. Now, in this first one, I don't know what all this is. I don't look at all this. I like to look at fuel consumption right here. So my base is an SC Wuling battery. I'm using 1.5 per minute, and that's 90 an hour, right? So 2,160 a day. The oscillating one, which is this one that's going through this little puzzle maze thing, is only being used at 1.11 per minute, or 66 an hour, 66.7. And so that saves you 560 batteries in a day, right? And that may not seem like a lot, but it adds up over time. Now, the other important thing is this right here. I don't click on simple because, like, when it says three-way gen, it's talking about one-way, two-way, three-way. That's what it means. So you're not excluding one of the sides. But it's easier to do the blueprint. Now, this blueprint looks real funky, doesn't it? It looks really weird. It confused the shit out of me when I first saw this. I was trying so hard to find something that explained what the hell is this. So here's what it's saying. I is your fuel input. That's what it says down here. But this is your unloader. Or if you're using your pack, it would be your like pack output port, right? And then R is just a depot loader or input port for the pack. That's all that is. All right. So then you will have the middle coming out of coming out of your unloader is all splitters, all the way up to your T, which is your thermal bank. Right. So you can kind of see how I have that. The oranges are splitters going up into the thermal bank. And then on the side, you'll have a converger pointing in that direction. So you can see it here. And then a converger pointing down. All right. That's all this is. That's it. That's how you read this. And you're good. And it works every time. All right. So that's your max power you're going to generate. That's your power you're going to generate right here is 5,770. So you have 270 power and leeway. This is how much is going to be used in the oscillation. Whoops. And this is your solution diagram. All right. So something that I want I'll go over 2 things. One is where's the belts, right? So if you don't want to use this many boxes, like if you've been looking at my stuff, you may see I have like an actual one less row, and I just put a belt because I was like, oh, I get how this thing works now. Like it doesn't matter. These sides don't matter how long they are. They just need to move a battery back into the loader. So like I can get rid of a whole side, which is what I think they were trying to show here. I think that's what they were trying to show. It just didn't come through immediately for me. So what you can do is you can actually hit exclude belts and turn that off and then hit calculate. But they'll tell you this. Sometimes the offline bug will mess with your power. So that's why as you put it like 20%, because the offline bug messes with it, you don't run out of power and you stop producing. This is probably easier to understand. This is actually what I used at first for a long time because it made way more sense. So how this would look on mine would be something more like this. Nope. Like that. So this if you use this method, if you if you are trying to save on buildings, like you hit that 512 or you're close to it. This base is kind of close to it. Oh, what's going on here? Oh, I know what's going on there. You could hit it, because I think this one is cleared, yeah. You could hit it if you're not careful. It's because I had too much sand leaf at one point, yeah. So these kind of clogged up a little bit. You could hit it, but in this updated format, you really should not hit it. I tried to save as much as I could, but I can do a little more with this, I believe. I think I was trying. I don't know. I have some. Anyway, we're not here about this. So if you need to save on box space, you can do this kind of method. But I don't, so I like to use the other method. Can I quick construct? Can I like pin things here? I don't know. So I want to go back to what I had. It's like this. Something like that. I guess I could put one there too. Okay. So that's it. Now, one last thing I want to show is, okay, you saw the DIGE had slots for 2 fuels, right? Primary, secondary, but I have 3 fuel. So how do you do that? All right, here's how you do it. You need to look at what you're using and add it up. So this is 1100. This is 3200. So this is what, 4300 power, right? That's what this is generating every 40 seconds. When you go into DIGE on primary fuel, you'll scroll down. You can't see it at first. Scroll down a little bit. You get custom fuel, and you'll put that in. So 4300. Also, it won't let you get rid of to 0, so you have to like type it and then go back and backspace it. And then the burn time is always 40 seconds. For like, well, not always, but for this, it's 40 seconds, right? So I got 4300. You see it right here. See that? 4300 every 4 seconds. I mean, every 40 seconds. And my power use is 5015. Ooh, whoops. 5015. My minimum battery, I'm okay with, is like freaking 5%. And then the max space I want is 100. Alright, so this is what I get. So I'm actually generating 5092 power. So this is reflected in what I have back here. Oh, let me do this. Oh my god, one day I remember to take these daggum quests off before I start recording these videos. But today ain't that day. So this is what I have. Oh, here, hold on, let me do this. So I look at it by how many I have. So I say like 5 up. So there's 5 splitters. I do 5 splitters. And then there's, oh, this is not what I have. I'm actually missing one. But then there's like 3 up and then 5 up on the left, right? So that's it. I wonder what I'm doing then. Oh shoot, because I'm supposed to have an extra one. Whoops. See, it's always right. Actually, that's not what's going on. I delayed that. I took all the batteries out of the production line, so that's why I did that. Put them back in. So I actually probably need to add that in. I think I'm what do I have then? How did I get to where I'm at? Oh, I know why. It's because I didn't have I am not using I don't have 5015. I had like 4900 power or something. And I was messing with it. I think if I do like 200 it'd give me what I had before. I don't know. I'm not worried about it. Mine works and I don't care. But I probably should add this one in because that'd save me a little more battery, so I'm actually gonna add it in. Oh, which I guess I don't have to do that. Just do this. Probably like a converger. I don't think you actually need the ones on top. So we're gonna do this. Like that. Okay, so that's DIGE. If you have questions, I guess you can ask me. I'm not an expert on this. I just know how to get this thing to work for myself. And I think I covered everything I know how to do in this. So anything else you may have to, I don't know, ask somebody who knows more or something. Also, the language is in the top right. I didn't bring this up. The language they have is in the top right. So that's DIGE for you on this video. That's way too long about DIGE because I am not short-winded at all. Okay, bye.